Hi, I'm Nick,
I'm Ross,
and this is Are You Entertained?
where we try to figure out if we're entertained by this movie.
Today's movie is The King, new on Netflix, starring people that we know. Not personally, but we've heard of.
You're an idiot. That was so stupid. The people that we know are Timothée Chalamet
And Robert Pattinson.
and Johnny Depp's weird daughter.
Oh, I don't know about that. It all depends on what you're going in for.
Yeah.
You went in with the expectation I was just going to be a big, giant fight scene
Yes.
the whole way through.
It's a war movie.
It's not a war movie. It's about the start of, and pretty much the end of Henry V's reign.
It's literally a war movie. It's about the 100 Years War.
It's really more. It's more about Henry V.
Is it really more about Henry V? Because this war was the movie started in the middle of the war.
Mm-hmm.
Where his father had recently fought the war, Henry IV, and then he came to the throne and kind of just continued.
But the only time you see anything about the 100-Year War is when he goes into France later in the movie. Before that, you see the Civil War in England, and that's all. It has nothing to do with the 100-Year War. That's to do with English shit.
But they were talking about how he didn't want to go to war with the French because that's his father's war. They're his father's enemies.
Right. He's trying to say the sins of the father are not the sons.
We truly need to figure out is the beginning or the middle of the war. I feel like that's very important.
It's towards the tail end of the war.
No, this is not the tail
I
end.
looked it up on Wikipedia.
Well, Wikipedia's a liar.
Just because anyone can edit anything at any time doesn't mean anything.
Well, now they have rules.
So this movie reminded me of
Henry V taking the throne, going to war. Boom. That's it. He had people around him who were like, don't go to war. Then he had people around him who was like, you should totally go to war. And he's so young that he has to like try to figure out.
Pretty much everybody told me he should go to war because they're all saying you're just a kid, no one buys you as their king.
Well, the Falstaff or Sir John or whatever his name was all like,
He's just his drinking
boys
buddy.
don't go to war.
Well, he was just his drinking buddy at that time because he didn't come into the picture until he said, "All right, as of today, we are at war with France." And then he went and paid his bar tab, and then dragged him.
And they were like, we're going to war. We're going to war, John. Not John, what's his name? Henry, Timothée Chalamet, we're going to war. This is our shit. We're going to fuck this up.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I will say, like, his performance is really monotone. Like, the only time you see him...
Who? Which one?
Timothée Chalamet.
Timothée.
Fuck off. The only time you see him, any sort of emotion or animation is in the one scene where there's no sound, they're just at the bar laughing up and dancing. You see him laughing weirdly.
For like 5, it was a weird cut.
It was like
cut. 5 minutes, and then like, not even, it was like a few seconds, and then all of a sudden, he like goes see his dad.
Right. And then the only other time is when he gives his speech before the battle. It's the only time you really see his anime. The rest of the time he doesn't say that. He's very like the whole performance. He's very quiet. He's very monotone. I understand he's supposed to be, I don't want to do this stuff. I'm just kind of here. But you'd expect some animation. He's just very quiet and monotone. And half the scenes he doesn't even speak.
I think half the problem with this movie is the fact that Timothée Chalamet should not have been Henry V. I don't believe it. Like, at the beginning.
Okay. We see a battle, and we think it's him, but it's not.
It's someone else with a bowl cut.
They all have bowl cuts.
Most of them have bowl cuts, yes. It's really good fading in the 1300s. They're just like, it's really good. It was really good. So, Henry Percy, who is the son of Henry IV's one council member or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's all like, I want to go to war. You're a bitch. No one cares about what you say. Henry IV's son goes to war, but Henry
the youngest
the
son.
fifth, the older son, who's supposed to take the throne, was like, no, brother. Like, he found him on the battlefield, was like, no, brother, let me go and like just fight him with fisticuffs.
That's where we get the UFC fight.
Yeah, we're going to get into like a full just hand-to-hand combat. We're going to really get into it. And the brother's like, no, this is my war. We're going to just sit in the truth. Henry's like, no, we're going to go fight him.
Because Henry, the whole movie that Henry V is saying, this is because of our dad. Our dad's making these family feuds.
Yeah.
We don't need to kill all these people. It's just family on family. And the youngest son, who he doesn't necessarily disagree with it, but he also thinks he needs to continue it, and he also wants to show that he's going to be a strong leader. That's why he really he hasn't had battle yet. He's never been. They imply in the movie he's never been to a battle before, and he's never fought. So he wants to show off that he can be king.
Yeah, you're right. So he gets to fisticuffs with Henry Percival, Henry Percy. He kills Henry Percy. His brother's all pissy because it was supposed to be his fight. And then Henry's like, forget this. I'm just going to go. I'm not going to be king anyway. Dude. Fast forward. Next scene. His brother's dead. His father's dying. They're like, hey, Henry V, you have to be king. He's like, alright. Henry V becomes king. He's like, I'm not going to war with anyone. You know, those are my dad's enemies.
Yeah.
They ain't my enemies. We're going to make peace with everybody. So he's getting gifts at his coronation. Forgets all his friends back in the swamp where,
back in the ghetto.
Before he became king. So then he gets a ball from the King of France. No note. And he's he's like, okay, well, whatever. It's just a ball. But clearly the King of France is like calling him a child.
Right.
So he bypasses. And then what happened after that?
After that, he's saying like, all right, we're going to pardon all my dad's old enemies. We're not going to hold anything against them. And then a French assassin comes up that's French saying, oh, the king sent me.
Yeah. And his dad's council member, William was like, you can't take this sitting down. You really have to go be king. You really have to go to war with the French now.
And before that, too, the Archbishop, he was trying to push for England to go to war with France, too, because apparently he had some cut into it saying, like, oh, this isn't a legitimate monarchy, so we got to go in there and take it over.
William's all like, you got to go to war. Henry's like, cool, but I can't go to war without my homeboy I left back in the swamp.
Sir John.
He goes and gets Sir John.
I'm pretty sure he was in Braveheart. We have to look it up later, because I'm pretty sure he's the redhead in Braveheart.
Braveheart?
I think he is.
Well, we'll figure it out eventually. Goes get John. He's like, John, I need you to fight this war with me. John's like, no. And he's like, well, no, John, seriously, I need you to come fight this war with me. And John's like, all right, first you have to pick up my tab, and then I'll come to war with you.
Yeah.
It was just as that dry. It was like, it was cut and cut and cut. Just all over the place. Like, it was.
So fast forward, they get to they get to France, they get to Normandy.
Yes.
They siege a castle. The Archbishop's like, we need to do this now.
We need to go into the castle.
And they said no, and then literally the next 5 minutes later, they surrender.
Yeah.
And then Robert Pattinson shows up and was talking about how small his dick is.
It was Robert Pattinson in a French accent. He was just like, well, hello. Bonjour.
Big balls, little penis.
He's like, you suck. Everyone hates you, Henry. That's exactly. He's like, all right, so I'll see you on the battlefield then. He's like, all right. So they come up with a plan to take on Robert Pattinson. And he's like, all right. So the Sir John is like, all right, I know it's gonna rain. So what we're gonna do is
his knee hurts.
Yeah. He's like that old man thing. He's like, my knee is aching. It's gonna rain. So what we're gonna do is we'll meet him out on the battlefield with half our army, and then y'all wait in the bushes. Y'all just rain arrows down on him while we pretend to fight, and then y'all come out.
Right.
Timothée Chalamet is like, yes, we're gonna do that. Dope. Let's go do that. They go do that. The French king realizes that they're losing. It's a whole battle. It's Battle of the Bastards.
Wait, he's not the French king. Well, let's talk about that, though, because there's a scene where the guy who plays Sir John, he's fallen over, he's fighting people, he's fallen over, he gets up, and then they do either a drone or crane shot over, where he's the only one without a helmet on, grasping out, like, the Battle of Bastards from Game of Thrones.
Like, he's the true king of the North. He's like... Hey, Timothée Chalamet decimates the whole French army. Well, the first half of the French army, because there's still a bunch of them left. And they really could have kept fighting
Well, no, he waits until the second charge, which is the rest of the army. Then he goes in, they fight, and then Robert Pattinson, clearly seeing that he was losing, came down. Because before that, he had gone to the camp, challenged him to one-on-one combat.
Yes.
Which they didn't go for. So now that the battle's clearly in the English hands, he goes down to try to do it that way, so he can try to keep his throne and everything. And he slips and falls everywhere, and Henry's just like throws his sword down and said, "Alright,
he's like, alright, everybody else, y'all kill him. I don't have time for it. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go meet my greeting people. I'm gonna get the French king surrender, because Robert Pattinson's not the French king. He's a dauphin, which is just the prince, really. And the French king's like, alright, so I surrender. Cool. You should marry my daughter. Who is the daughter of Johnny Depp? And she's French, and she only knows French for 3 minutes.
Yeah, she said
he like goes. They all get back. Right, outside everyone's cheering and just going crazy. So he's like, I'm gonna go and see my wife, or wife to be, or whatever there are at this point. And he goes over and he's like, bonjour, don't you look pretty? And she's like, voulez-vous coucher avec moi? He's like, we only speak English in here. And she's like, pardon, sir, I don't know English. In English.
She says it in French. She says it in French, and then he just starts talking in English, and she just starts talking in English too.
It was so stupid. And then he was like, so she said, why would my father send a assassin? He thinks you're a joke. And he's like, aha.
Why'd you try to do a French aha? So it turns out it was one of his trusted advisors, and then he kills him in the back of the head.
Off. He rushes off. He's like, he goes to his trusty William. He goes to William. He's like, William, how much land do you have? He's like, I have a bunch of land. He's like, okay, so now that we've conquered France, how much land do you have in France? He's like, I don't know yet. William realizes that he's been had. So he's like, no, hold on. Let me tell you what really happened. See, I gave you this victory, boy. And Timotei's like, oh, snap. Is William
it wasn't the fact that he gave him the victory. It was the fact that, because the whole movie's saying like how his own court and then also France, who's their biggest rival, how they're all saying he's just a boy, he's a weak king, no one believes in him and all this other stuff. So his whole plot was to get him to get that prestige.
Yes.
So he'd be able to have that, and then hopefully he would be able to,
he would be able to
leech off of that success.
So William was all like, alright, so I gave you this. Cool. You're king now. So
he's been king.
Why don't we just... Well, a legitimate king, because his father was a usurper. So he's like, alright, cool. Like, we can just go on. I gave you victory. I gave you the people's love. Timotei, he like leans down to bow down to Timotei. Timotei just takes out a dagger and just stabs him.
Real quick,
back of the neck.
Yeah.
Then runs off to his wife and says, I just need you to be honest with me forever. I don't care about anything else. We don't even have to love each other. I need you to be honest with me. And she's like,
alright. So did you
see?
Listen, I didn't buy him as a king.
It wasn't. No, exactly. I kept saying that over and over again. I just don't buy Timothée Chalamet as king of England or of anywhere.
Right.
So I don't love the movie.
So would you recommend this for anyone, like even like a history buff, just so they can see what it was like? Because you can argue that this wasn't what you wanted because the cover shows him in battle armor, so you're expecting a battle thing. But if you go in with the expectation of seeing how royal court is, because some people do like that.
Obviously, I'm one of the people who does like that. No, because then it comes down to like costume design and lighting and just like the visuals of everything. It
just really didn't pull you in because you said at least 4 different times that you just wanted to stop the movie and watch something else.
Yes,
but if you look at the series Rome on HBO.
Yes,
right. Like that's all about political intrigue, them debating, but you're drawn into it. It was more like
it wasn't pretty.
Well, it's medieval times. It's not going to be.
Well, no. What's this show called? Jonathan Rhys Meyers as in Henry VIII. It was 100 years after, but still, a lot of those castles were still up during that time. It was a beautiful. You have to watch it. It was a beautiful show. Like it really draws you in just purely on scenery.
I think that the scenery matched the melancholy acting perfectly. Nobody was happy being there.
It was boring. It's just like everyone's so boring and annoyed me. But
I'm happy I watched it, but I don't think I could ever recommend it to anyone.
I'm never gonna ever tell anyone ever to watch this movie.
Right. So, were you entertained, Ross?
No, I wasn't. It was bad. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Are you entertained?
No, I was not.
So we're not entertained.
I say skip this movie if you're expecting something more exciting. If you're interested in political intrigue, I guess watch it.
Skip this movie. Go and see. Go see the TV show that was on HBO or Showtime. One of them with Jonathan Rhys Meyers as Henry VIII. You want to see a beautiful drama? Henry VIII show. Or shit, even the White Queen on Stars, or that CW one about Lady Jane Grey. There's a CW show. Go see that show. Watch anything that's not this.
Alright, so this has been Are You Entertained? Check us out next time when we're going to be watching something we're going to pick out of the box.
Something else.